PlayStation.
If we've missed your favourite, get in the comments and start banging the drum for it. That heavy-handed visual metaphor out of the way, let's get stuck in.
A Thunderjaw! I took down a Thunderjaw!
What better way to kick off than with Horizon Call of the Mountain, a game that doesn't require words for a hard sell. You need only crest the peak of a long and physically exerting climb and just drink it in. This is the magic of Call of the Mountain, the chance to step into Aloy's world and truly realize the depth of its plummeting drops or the size of a grazing toolneck, as close to a real welcome to Jurassic Park moment as I've had in a game. Of course, you aren't Aloy, but Shadow Carja rebel Rias, tasked with investigating a surge in machine behavior. Really, that's an excuse to witness Horizon's iconic sights and sounds firsthand, from sniping down glint hawks to crafting new arrows from materials snatched from the world. It's really sophisticated stuff, but not above playfulness, as it gives you creepy dolls to mess with, musical instruments for an impromptu jam session, or simply places a big hammer next to tableware. Come on, what else was I going to do? It's all topped off with those marvellous metal machines, which, in VR, truly tower over you and convey a sense of monstrous danger. If anything, it makes me respect Aloy even more now that I've seen what she's seen. You should see it too, in Horizon Call of the Mountain.
If you do like the playful toys in Horizon, you're going to love Cosmonius High. This space adventure crash lands you in an intergalactic high school and gives you a pair of magic hands to help clean the place up. Your gloves can become water fountains, yoink objects with telekinesis, or even paint wires to fix busted electronics. But these powers are only the tip of the iceberg. Which is also something you can make with your hands. The school is packed with classrooms full of gizmos and gadgets to mess around with, like mixing chemicals to coat objects with glue or make them bouncy, or using this huge ink stamp machine to print your own masterpiece. I wonder if my mum will pin this to the fridge. Honestly, every inch of Cosmonius High is stuffed with weird stuff. You could eat space crisps. You could shake up drinks to spray them in your teacher's face. You can blow soap bubbles and then plop other things inside. You even get a Polaroid camera to forever remember those happy moments. Cosmonius High achieves the impossible, a school you never want to leave.
The best thing about Gran Turismo 7 is that it's a game about cars even people who don't know anything about cars can enjoy. And that's doubly true of Gran Turismo 7 on PS VR2. Heck, I don't know my Aston Martins from my Elgrans, yet stick me in GT7's VR showroom and I will spend actual hours just looking at cars. The way the light ripples photorealistically across the bodywork, the way you can lean right in and see the intricate detail of a metallic paint finish, or how you get to just sit in the driver's seat and peer at the gear stick or the buttons for heated seats and aircon. Gran Turismo is a series renowned for its exhaustive attention to detail, and this PSVR2 version of GT7, which is a free update for anyone who already owns the game on PS5 by the way, lets you enjoy all that granular stuff to an obsessive degree. Oh, and then there's the actual racing, which in VR is honestly one of the most thrilling experiences video games can offer. The sense of speed and space is something we can't really tell you about. You just have to try it for yourself. It's the simple things though, like shooting a quick glance into your rearview mirror to check on your rivals, or seeing the racetrack GPS on your in-car dashboard, that elevate what is already a sensational driving experience into something truly generational.
The sick genius of Resident Evil Village's VR mode, our next pick, is the way it takes the man with the most battered hands in gaming and makes them your hands. Prepare to kiss your digits goodbye as they're fed to wolfmen, pour helplessly at spikes, and are forced into that thing. All the stuff your mum told you not to do as a kid. Luckily, Ethan Winter's trigger finger survives, allowing him to fight back with an arsenal plucked from its interactive coat and aimed with the pin-sharp precision of the sense controllers. Manually reloading adds even more panic during fights, but don't worry, it can be switched off for a gentler ride. And if you're feeling really cocky, you can dual wield like John Wick without a pinky finger. All this goes hand in damaged hand with one of the best action romps around, whipping you from werewolf-filled villages to the gothic home of a gigantic lady. And if you think she's overbearing in VR, wait until you descend into the belly of House Beneviente.
The magic of PSVR2 is that moment where you slip into a state of complete immersion, where your brain is totally fooled into thinking you're floating across the serene turquoise waters of a paradise beach in Costa Rica, for instance, as is the case with Kayak VR Mirage, a game that, in my opinion, takes the crown for best video game water ever. Peering over your kayak at either the sandy beach inches below or the wreck of a World War II submarine surrounded by sharks, you can really feel that sense of depth. But it's the sensory pleasure of dipping your virtual oars in and out of the water that really sells it. Thanks to the haptic feedback of the PSVR2 Sense controllers, every time your paddle breaks the surface, you'll feel a satisfying plop, a subtle splash of resistance that genuinely makes it feel like you're hauling your kayak through the sea. There's a race mode which has you slaloming through a series of tracks, but for me the joy of Kayak VR Mirage comes from soaking it all in, lazily drifting along, enjoying the wildlife, the sights and sounds, and the meditative gurgle and shush of that pristine virtual H2O.
I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh lord, have you ever wanted to play a game where you can rock out with some drums and not get a noise complaint from your mum? Well, have I got the game for you. Drums Rock is a fantastic rhythm game where you rock out in hell fighting off demons with the power of your drumming skills. It starts, as all epic concerts do, with a clack of your sticks, and then it really kicks off. In a similar vein to Guitar Hero, the demons are one of 6 colours, the colour representing which part of the drum kit you hit. Hit them in time with the music and you'll rank up your score. And to be even more badass, if you throw your sticks in the air and catch them, your score gets boosted. How cool is that? And jamming out to banging tunes like Black Betty, I Love Rock and Roll, as well as original songs, has never been easier, as your drum kit is customizable. Practically as well as visually, of course. So grab your sticks and get ready to rock out. Or not.
If you need to be told why playing Star Wars in virtual reality is cool, then I don't really know what can be done for you. Pointing at the actual Millennium Falcon like you're Leo DiCaprio in that Once Upon a Time in Hollywood meme is par for the course. But happily, Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge Enhanced Edition on PSVR2 adds the bonus of being an actual really good video game into the whole I'm in Star Wars deal. One of my favourite things to do in virtual reality is to just touch stuff, play with it, poke it, prod it, turn it around in my hands, and Galaxy's Edge is like a big sci-fi toy box of gizmos with which you can do just that. Best of all is firing laser guns, especially when it comes to reloading them by pulling back the mechanical vent on top. Throwing your guns in the air, an essential purchase for any PSVR2 owner.
The Dark Pictures Switchback VR is one hell of a ride. From the twisted minds behind the Dark Pictures anthology and Until Dawn Rush of Blood, this is a whole new horrific VR experience. Riding on a roller coaster, you trundle through all of the worlds in Season 1 of the Dark Pictures anthology, experiencing the frights firsthand. Surviving the horrors on a ghost ship, enduring the terrors of witchcraft, struggling against vampires, and having the worst hotel experience of your life. But don't worry, you have guns! Guns which help you fight off all threats and solve puzzles to help others you meet on a spooky train ride. But they can't always help you, as Switchback fully utilizes PS VR2's technology to make coping with your fear much harder. But if all of this sounds too much, don't worry, as Mr. Curator pops up. And I don't know about you, but seeing him always makes me happy and much, much calmer.
While PSVR 2 is packed with visceral, in-the-moment thrills, our next pick slows things right down for a more contemplative journey. Before Your Eyes casts you as Benny, a soul making his trip through the afterlife and looking back on defining moments from his lifetime. You're dropped into subtle snapshots of everyday life, which are beautiful in themselves, but what elevates this in VR is the unique control scheme. You look around each scene with your head, but control the world through blinking, quickly closing your eyes to activate conversations and interactions with ghosts of the past.
Ooh, look at that. You're a blinking genius. I knew you were special.
But when the metronome symbol pops up, it means that blinking will skip you through time. Benny's life is literally passing in front of your eyes, and you'll be desperately trying not to waste these precious moments. No, you can't quickly blink your way through the campaign for easy trophies. Not that we tried, of course. But that's not really the vibe of this considered, thoughtful experience. This is one to keep your eyes on, literally.
Now play the C major chord I taught you.
Here's something I didn't expect to say this year. Can you name a game where you have bats for hands? I can, and it's called What the Bat. A wonderful game where you go through life normally, but with someone who has literal baseball bats for hands. Preparing your breakfast, brushing your teeth, going to work, sabotaging Mona Lisa, controlling remote-controlled sheep into a pen, shooting ginormous ducks, you know, the usual. All whilst having your elephant mate over here watching over you. The whole time. Staring. Look, I don't know who you are or why you're here, but can you please just give me some space? Anyway, there are over 100 levels of absolute craziness. It's a real joy to spawn in an area, look around and just think, okay, what is this silly game asking me to do now? And then get a for figuring it out. As it's quite a physical game, What the Bat is one of the few PSVR2 titles to use the room scale playstyle, so you will need 2x2 meters to play in. But it's well worth pushing the sofa aside for. It's bonkers, it's fun, it's funny, and it's something you need to make sure you play. Also, you have a pet dog who is a very good boy.